I, 41M, go to the gym early morning around 5:30 a.m. There are generally very few people that come to the gym at that time. There is a girl, early 20s, that also comes to the gym at the same time. We always say hello to each other and have a small talk between our sets. She comes in early because the gym is empty, and she likes to record herself working out as she wants to be a fitness influencer or something. She seems dedicated and we know each other for at least a year. Today morning, as I was working out, she came to me and asked for help. She was very excited and told me that she wanted to go for a PR on barbell squat. She asked me if I could spot her as she was not confident if she would be able to do it. I said okay, as this is not the most uncommon thing. For people who are unfamiliar, this is an exercise where you carry a barbell with weights on your back and perform a squat. The spotter has to stand behind the person and support the person in case they fail to get up. As she was getting ready, I saw her phone in the corner and asked her if I can be off camera or if she can stop recording. She said she really wanted to record herself doing it, and I will look good on camera. I told her that I really do not want to be on camera as my wife or coworkers may watch the video if she posts it online and may not look good for me. Another reason that I did not tell her was that she was wearing a very revealing outfit, small sports bra and tight shorts, and I really did not feel comfortable being recorded standing behind her. She promised me that she will record it for herself, and not post the video. However, I just did not want to be recorded. I told her that I really feel uncomfortable, and if she waits for 30 minutes, one of the trainers may be able to help her. She became really upset and asked me why I am making the situation weird. She accused me of sexualizing her. She asked me if she was a man, would I have done it? I felt she had a point as I have done it for other people. I told her that I would be okay doing it, but I just don't want to be recorded doing it. She again went on a rant about me body shaming her and me being uncomfortable with her perfectly fine outfit. I felt bad that I upset her as she was just trying to work out. I have also asked people to spot me in past, and people always helped. However, I just did not want to be recorded. Am I the odd to refuse to spot her because she was recording it? I don't want her to feel that it was because of her clothes, or because she is a girl. However, as a married man, I need to observe some boundaries and really don't want to be recorded in that way with a girl half my age. I am also worried that she recorded our whole conversation and may post it online. I do not know what I should do in this situation and I'm a bit worried. Update 1. I was worried that she would post our conversation about me refusing her help online and show me as the bad guy. I told my wife about the conversation, and she said that she has seen posts where young girls do add nasty voiceovers and make men my age look like creeps for views. My wife told me that I should just complain to the gym management about her for recording me without my consent, just to get ahead of things. When I went to the gym next week, I saw her again. I tried to keep my distance, but she kept on smiling at me. As I finished my sets, she came to me and asked me if we could talk. She wanted to apologize for her behavior from the previous day and how it was wrong of her to assume that I would be okay with her recording me. It was a pleasant surprise, as I was not expecting that. I told her that it was okay, and I just don't like to be recorded in general. She followed me outside and continued the conversation. She asked me how long I have been working out and I could advise her on her form. I told her that there are some really good personal trainers in the gym I could recommend to her, but she told me that she is unemployed and cannot afford them. She told me she will buy me a coffee if I can give her some pointers. At this point, I felt I was just being rude and told her sure, and we went to a nearby coffee shop. Her name is Haley. She graduated last year, moved back to her mom's house and is looking for a job. She was very chubby last year and wants to look like the TikTok fitness models and is trying hard to get in shape. We had a nice conversation, and I was able to help her with some of her questions. She already knew my name and asked me if my wife would be okay if she follows me on Instagram. I told her that the main purpose of that account is for my wife to spy on my friends' lives, so I generally don't use it. She asked me if I use Snapchat and I had to remind her that I am twice her age. This is where it got crazy. When I came home, I told my wife about what happened. My wife loves her reels and TikTok and wanted to see if she ever posted the video from previous week. I only knew that her first name was Haley and how she looked and told my wife about it. When I came back from work in the evening, my wife was already home and sitting on the sofa. She was grinning ear to ear and told me to immediately sit next to her. Apparently, this girl had been posing about me and calling me her gym crush for the last 2 months. My face is blurred out in all the videos. A lot of videos were her sitting in her car every morning and making up completely fictional romantic stories about our interactions. Each video had like 100 plus likes, which my wife says is not a lot, but feels like a lot. She had posted some videos of us just passing each other and smiling, or our conversation where I was telling her to stop recording, with voiceover about how I approached her in the gym and complimented her body. There was a video from that morning about her coming to me while I was packing up, with her saying how I asked her out for a coffee. She is just making up fictional romantic bullshit for getting likes, and people were commenting and cheering for her. There were also other videos of her working out and posing in the gym locker room. My wife was laughing uncontrollably about how big of a sucker I am and how I am internet famous now. I told her this needs to stop, but my wife insisted that she is too invested in the drama now and wants to see what happens next. She said that this girl is really young, and just trying to establish herself and get more followers. Plus, she has not done anything inappropriate and is not showing my face in the videos. My wife just wants me to play along and see what crazy Haley does next. So, for the last 2 weeks, I have been going to the gym, talking to her every day, and my wife keeps me updated on what story she came up with for the day. We go for a coffee every Wednesday and I am mentoring her about nutrition and what she should focus on, to the best of my abilities. It's all a game for my wife, and I do want Haley to succeed as long as she does not cross a line. However, the whole thing feels really crazy, and I am too old to deal with this shit. I am not sure how long I can keep up with the act. Her behavior seems innocent, but also, I am getting a bit uncomfortable with the whole thing now. Update 2. There were few people who did dramatic readings of my post on TikTok last week, and millions of people saw it. One of them being my wife. I thought I was just venting here in anonymity about Haley and my wife. On Saturday morning, my wife came to me and asked me if I posted my story on Reddit. I asked her how she knows, because she never uses Reddit. She showed me some person doing a dramatic reading of the story. She was just giddy and asked me if it was really me posting the story. I told her yes, and she just lost it. She was just laughing at how I was being so dramatic talking about a very funny situation. Moreover, most of the TikTok commenters were cheering my wife, and I have never seen my wife being so happy since our wedding. We had a bunch of my friends invited for barbecue party that evening, and my wife was also telling me about my Reddit post and showing them the TikTok. At this point multiple channels had posted it. Everyone was making fun of Haley's posts and teasing me. My friends even enacted what spotting a barbell squat looks like for their wives, and what happens when the person squatting fails. I really started feeling bad for Haley, as everyone was just making fun of her and her videos. I felt that we had taken things too far, and she did not deserve this kind of ridicule. I told my wife that night that I'm going to tell Haley that we know about her videos the next time we meet, as I feel we are just being mean to her at this point. My wife again started grinning and showed me the TikTok comments. Apparently, a lot of people had already started snooping around TikTok and found a bunch of Haley's posting about their gym crush, and my Haley was one of them. Haley had not responded to any of the comments but had promptly deleted all her recent videos. I was horrified as a lot of people were accusing her of being a home wrecker and to stay away from married men. I felt so embarrassed that I just felt like I wanted to bury my face and disappear. All I wanted was quick feedback on Reddit, and never meant for all this to happen. As days went on, more and more people viewed the video, and Haley was still getting a lot of comments. My wife told me last night that almost 5 million people saw those videos. I really did not want to face Haley anymore and could not get myself to go to the gym for the last 2 days. Yesterday evening, Haley messaged me and asked me if I still plan to have coffee with her today, and my wife told me to just talk to her as she might also be feeling bad. My wife felt Haley was just doing childish things because she is a child, and I apologized to her for causing her all the stress. I went to the gym today, and to say that things were awkward between us at the start was an understatement. After my workout was done, Haley and I walked to a coffee shop nearby and had a chat. Before I could apologize to her, she started profusely apologizing to me for posting inappropriate posts about me on TikTok. She said that she was just having fun, and it was like a joke between all her friends. She told me that only her friends and family follow her, and she was just making up fun stories to entertain them. She didn't mean for it to blow up and for so many people to see them. She told me that she woke up this weekend and suddenly her TikTok had hundreds of views, likes and messages. She was confused and checked, and everyone was commenting on her videos calling her a home wrecker and crazy Haley. She realized that I had posted a Reddit story because of some comments, and immediately felt embarrassed because she learned that my wife and I knew about her posting stuff about me. She deleted all her recent videos, but people seemed to be still finding her somehow and messaging her on her older posts. Also, her friend's message saw what was happening, and she had to explain to her mom that she was not dating a married man. I also apologized to her and told her I did not know that Reddit posts blow up on TikTok and was just worried I offended her when I did not spot her the other day. She was surprised that I did not know that about TikTok, as it seems to be fairly common. I told her that my wife found her content funny, and so she asked me not to tell her. My wife felt she was talented and working so hard on her fitness to be an influencer. At the end, we just laughed about the situation. She told me that she always wanted to know how it would be to be internet famous and enjoyed her 15 minutes of fame. Seems that things are back to normal, and she has promised she will find another gym crush and we will continue being friends. Finally, I just wanted to ask everyone to not go and find Haley on TikTok and let her be. Please do not harass any Haleys on the internet because of me. I am not going to disclose who the real one, so just stop harassing all Haleys. They are not home wreckers, and just young kids. Now on to second story. Husband insists on having his predatory priest friend baptize our baby, but I refuse to let him near our family. My 25F husband, 37 male, is the greatest man ever. He is incredibly kind, generous, intelligent, and loving. On top of this, he is an adorable nerd, which to me is a great quality. His dorky jokes are my favorite thing, but means he was bullied a lot as a child, is not terribly socially confident. He is definitely a follower, not a leader. I think all these qualities are relevant to the current situation. To begin at the beginning, at the time I met my husband, I was struggling with an addiction to prescription medication which I had developed while studying at a very competitive college. By the time I started dating my husband, it was getting impossible to hide the fact that I had a serious problem. While he was incredibly supportive and encouraged me to seek help, I was ashamed. So, I lied. I told him that I was already seeking professional help and that I was really getting better, when in reality I was just trying to go cold turkey and shove all the emotions down until they went away. Author's note: this is not a good strategy. I immediately felt awful about this, which just made me more reluctant to come clean. At this time, my husband introduced me to his old childhood friend, whom I'll call A. A is a Catholic priest and was staying with my husband at the time. Both A and my husband are from a Catholic country in Europe. Both of their families are part of one of those charismatic movements, which is like a very close-knit, conservative church group. Because A was always the cool and confident guy growing up, my husband worshipped A. He talked A up to me and was insistent that I talk to A alone about my addiction problems because he sincerely believed A could help with my recovery. I met with A a total of 4 times over the course of 1 week. All these meetings took place in my husband's apartment when my husband was out. During the first session, he seemed nice and helpful, and, because I was feeling so bad about lying to my husband, I pretty much fessed up to him straight away. Basically from this point forward, A creeped me out. I don't know how to explain it other than to say he was constantly looking at me like I was food. I think I will remember this next part till the day I die. It was so awful. During our 4th and final session, A asked me a series of questions about the kinds of sexual things I had done with my husband, who was at that time still my boyfriend. When I told him honestly that we didn't do anything physical other than hug and kiss, he laughed and said that my husband was always so bad with girls and if I were used correctly I would be much happier and my addiction issues would go away. I was just kinda dumbstruck. He moved closer to me and said, verbatim, "Think about it this way. God does everything for a reason, and he made you very sexually attractive to please men. Isn't it wrong that you're not using your gift correctly? Does it not follow that you would feel more fulfilled if you did use it correctly?" At this point, my brain was screaming nope, so I told him nope, with my mouth too. Right away, he got hostile and threatened, in a whole lot more words, to expose my lie to my husband if I didn't have sex with him. Yeah, nope. I didn't hesitate to tell my husband about my lie and about his backstabbing awful friend. I'm so grateful my husband believed me and that he gave me a second chance. My husband, being always an upstanding citizen, reported the incident to A's home diocese in Europe, which put him on indefinite leave. I'm pretty sure this is Catholic for fired because he's a fucking creep. This was 5 years ago. In the meantime, I got professional help, we got married, and are now expecting a baby. Before the virus, my husband got a grant to work on a project near his old hometown, where A is passing his time in leave, so we're all living in the same area. I took it for granted we weren't talking to A. My husband was very upset by everything that happened and I specifically remember him saying I never want to see that man again. Yesterday evening, however, my husband casually mentioned when he was getting out of the shower that he looked forward to playing soccer with A and his brothers in the summer, when the virus had passed and our baby was born. I stayed calm and asked him what the hell he was talking about. He said he didn't want to tell me at first, but A had reached out to him via his family when we first arrived in the area and apologized for what he'd done. They've been talking and texting for months now and according to my husband A is so happy that his actions didn't hurt our relationship, as in, my husband's relationship with me, and is looking forward to baptizing our baby. My husband's basic reasoning here is that everybody deserves a second chance, and that all is well because A humbled himself enough to apologize. Yeah, hell to the fuck no. This man is not getting anywhere near my baby. Not only was he gross and manipulative, he also tried to use religion to justify it, which I think means he is the last person who should be involved in a baptism. Also, I may be judgmental here, but I don't believe for 1 second that A is really sorry. On the other hand, I have also benefited from my husband's everybody deserves a second chance policy, and I feel hypocritical telling him this guy doesn't deserve a second chance. My husband seems to show some kind of understanding that I would be upset by this, as he was pretty sheepish about explaining the situation, but he also seems to think I'll get over it. What the hell do I do here? Update 1. I'm still rather new to the sub, so please forgive me if I am breaking any sub rules. I don't know the etiquette surrounding updates, I even had to Google to figure out what update meant, but due to my crazy pregnancy hormones I am unable to sleep and decided that now is a good time to thank you all for your assistance. First things first, thank you. I was in an emotional tizzy when I posted last time, and many of your comments were genuinely helpful. Many of you are by far the kindest strangers on the internet I could ever hope to meet. Sure, some comments were rude, but under every bridge there is a troll. I remain truly grateful to those of you who took time to reassure me that I am not, indeed, being crazy or unfair. Second, in response to the several messages I got requesting a denouement to this fucking mess, on the Sunday following my post, I sat down with my husband and let all of my frustration out. It was obvious neither one of us was comfortable with the situation and that we had been tiptoeing around the subject for days. I told him, as so many of you encouraged me to do, that it hurt me that he had hidden this from me and that I respected his decision to forgive A, but his decision wasn't mine. I'll be honest, I cried. Really, really hard. After I had spoken my piece, my husband told me that he was also not really happy with A's apology and was eager to tell me that the baptism thing was not his idea. My husband claims that originally he didn't want to talk to A, but that my husband's, mother and A's mother, who is very close to my husband's mother, kept cajoling him until he agreed to correspond with A from there. He says he was railroaded into accepting the apology and later on, into agreeing to let A perform the baptism. Furthermore, my husband says it was his mother's and A's mother's idea to keep this from me, as they claimed too much stress would hurt the baby, and told him that it was his duty as man of the house. It is a tiny one-bedroom apartment, with a damn washing machine shoved under the kitchen counter, but okay ladies, to spare me from delicate situations like this. Apparently, they had planned to spring this on me when I was freshly postpartum, and, as I think, too weak to protest too much, but my husband did not have the guts for that kind of criminal enterprise. After this conversation, I found the search history on his phone full of items like stress cause miscarriage and maternal anxiety effects on fetus, so I genuinely believe that he was struggling to find the best way to come clean long before he mentioned it. He also apologized to me for breaking his wedding vows, while, unfortunately, the traditional Catholic vows which his parents selected basically make me my husband's property. They also stipulate that he is to protect me and our children from all harm and always be truthful with me, which he readily admitted he didn't do in this situation. For his own part, he still said he pitied A and wanted to keep up a supportive relationship with him, but it doesn't look like that will pan out. See penultimate paragraph. It is clear to me, and to my husband, but he would never be so openly cynical, that this is all a plot to get their little community to accept A again. If A's family can go around to all their friends waving pictures of me, my husband, and our little one with A, it will look as if all is forgiven, and furthermore might look as if the original incident had been blown out of proportion. This hurts me in so many ways. I really do love my husband's family and I thought the love was mutual. I'm going to simplify a complex relationship here and say truthfully, though, I've had suspicions for a while that his mother doesn't like or respect me. It wasn't relevant to my original post, but I actually asked my husband out on our first date. Yeah, I didn't know how old he was, but I was in a point in my life and his warmth and kindness really made an impression on me. This is very relevant to understanding my relationship with his mother. While I couldn't really speak directly to her the first time we met, I didn't know Italian, she doesn't know English, I could tell from her expression, her gestures, and the little bit my husband would translate for me that she didn't think I was feminine enough, but at the same time thought I was a slut for going after her son. While I had hoped I was wrong, I had also suspected that she blamed me for what happened with A. I have only caught a few comments here and there, but I have gotten the impression that she almost thinks that I'm a loose woman who had it coming. Again, I may be too sensitive. Obviously, this whole situation is not over and won't be over for a while. My husband readily and happily agreed to tell A right that afternoon that we would be waiting to baptize the baby until a priest from my own family can do it. A reacted poorly and my husband looked completely drained after he got off the phone. We have, by common consent, just agreed not to discuss his mother's role in this until we can see a couples therapist, because if we do I will say some very non-feminine and probably ill-advised things. As I said, this hurts a lot. To get very real with all you strangers on the internet, I have never had a good family life. When I got married, I thought I had found a real, supportive family. While I truly believe my relationship with my husband is strong and I think we are both much happier now that the shadow of A is no longer overhanging our relationship, I have had to come to terms with the fact that this family is just as manipulative as mine was, and that my marriage is probably going to need a lot of professional help. Once again, I thank you all for your time and attention. I am indebted to you all, because without your support I don't think I would have had the confidence to confront this issue as effectively as I did. Additionally, if you have any spare time, I'd like to ask, how do I remain polite to my mother-in-law? Because that is going to be a challenge.